Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Please smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Bond Court is now in session.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Laura Bretaña, Spanish interpreter. The interpreter has not been sworn.
Turn the interpreter, please.
Do you solemnly swear to translate from Spanish to English, from English to Spanish to the best of your ability?
Yes, I do. Laura Bretaña, Spanish interpreter.
Thank you.
And do we have connection?
There is contact, Your Honor.
Okay. We also have a witness. Sir, do you need Spanish interpreter?
No.
No. Okay. All right. Good morning, ma'am. State your name, please.
Elizabeth Gonzalez.
Elizabeth Gonzalez.
All right, ma'am. You're here for initial appearance in case 22MM4206. You were arrested for the offense of a battery. It's domestic related. And we have a witness. Sir, could you state your name?
Juan Sanchez?
Are you Juan Sanchez?
Yes.
It's hard to hear you with that.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Mr. Sanchez, what's your relationship to Ms. Gonzalez?
Husband?
If she is released, do you want to have a contact with her, or do you want her to stay away from you?
Away.
I'm sorry, you're going to have to speak.
Away.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Away.
I still don't understand.
Away.
You want her to stay away from you? Okay. All right. All right. Does the state have any questions for Mr. Sanchez?
No, Your Honor.
Ma'am, I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Defense, do you have a?
No questions, Your Honor.
She qualifies for pretrial release. I'm going to order no contact. State, you have an objection to pretrial release?
No, Your Honor.
All right. So, Ms. Gonzalez, I'm going to release you on pretrial release with the condition that you have no contact with your husband, Juan Sanchez, that you maintain a separate residence. Are you still living at the Commander Drive apartment, sir?
Yes.
So, ma'am, you're going to have to find somewhere else to live while this matter is pending. You can return to the residence one time with law enforcement escorting you to get your personal belongings. You're not to go back there alone, and you're not to have contact with your husband. You're not to consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, possess no weapons or firearms. All right. Good luck, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Okay, and we've got one more interpreter case.
Banks has it.
They're trying to decide the witness.
What's the name? Oh,
What section?
you saw him earlier.
Thank you.
Genius. All right. Good morning, sir. State your name, please.
Rengifo Mascarate Hyber. Rengifo Ascarate Hyber.
Rengifo Ascarate Hyber.
Sir, you're here for initial appearance. You were arrested for violation of a pretrial release condition in a domestic violence case. Let me see what's, give me 1 second. This is case 22 MM 4216. That's not it.
Agreeing with
464.
I mean, he's entitled to his objection to that. Ryan concerned with reading the allegations within the warrant.
All right, the court saw you, today's Friday, saw you on Wednesday.
Sí, su señoría.
And
Yes,
had-
Your Honor.
And had ordered you to have no contact with the victims in the case, which I believe were your wife and your son.
Sí, su señoría. ¿Puedo hablar?
Yes, Your Honor, but may I speak?
Well, understand that I've appointed you the public defender in that case. I'll appoint the public defender in this case. The attorney would tell you not to say anything. State, what's your position on a bond?
Your Honor, state has no objection to you setting a bond on the violation of the condition. But state would ask that you revoke his out on bond because he was here on Wednesday, the 22 MM 4164. You don't automatically be in violation of this court's order. State doesn't know of any other condition that you can place on Mr. Remigio Marti that would ensure his compliance with the orders this time.
All right, at this point, I'll set the bond on the violation of the pretrial release condition at $500. I'm going to revoke the bonds that I had set on Wednesday and set the bond at none. The court has ordered you to have no contact. No contact means no phone calls. Okay, well, at this point, yes, ma'am.
I'm so sorry. So on the bonds that he could you're just gonna set them at zero because he never got released.
Yeah, I'm going to change it from 500 to 0. That case number is 2022 MM 4164 AO. At this point, I've appointed you an attorney. And the attorney in Division 50 can file the appropriate motion with the judge. In Division 50, that'd be Judge McGinnis. Judge McGinnis will make a decision whether or not he's going to release you on or set a new bond. Okay. At this time, no contact means no contact. Good luck, sir.
Gracias. Una pregunta. ¿Me puedo ir o tengo que seguir aquí?
I have a question. May I go or do I have to stay here?
I revoked the bonds that I had set on Wednesday when I had ordered that you have no contact. So now the bond is none. All right? I've appointed you an attorney, and you can talk to the attorney in Division 50. Good luck, sir. And he doesn't need an interpreter? No? All right, that's all we have. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Have a good day.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
Melissa Bryan on behalf of Joshua Miller.
All right.
So we asked the state for PTR, but I guess he's not eligible. Is he eligible for PTR?
No, he doesn't qualify for pre-trial.
Okay, no problem. Is it possible for us to get the lowest bond? He has no priors. He goes to schools. He attends St. Petersburg University, and he also works at a car wash, and he has work tomorrow.
What's the state's position on?
Your Honor, he is otherwise entitled to a bond as he is charged with an F2 and an M1. State's main concern is the continued threat of violence towards the victim. Looks like it's been spanning.
My client will agree to a no contact order and any other stipulation.
Okay. All right, well, he's entitled to a bond.
Yes.
All right. There's a lack of history. I'm going to set the bond at $1,500 on count one. I'm sorry, count one's a misdemeanor. Is it count two's the felony? Is it?
I have the stalking I have is in the F2, the intimidation as an M1.
Okay, so it'll be $1,500 and $500. Sir, I'm ordering no contact. No contact means no contact whatsoever. I read the affidavit. Obviously, you're presumed innocent. If you have any contact directly or indirectly with the victim, and that includes social media. Believe me, they're professionals. That's all they do is they'll root it out. And if the court's made aware that you've had any contact or attempted to have contact directly or indirectly, expect to be back in jail on no bond, and you're not going to get a bond until this matter is resolved. Okay? All right. All right. I'm also going to order you to possess no weapons or firearms, consume no alcohol or illegal drugs.
Your Honor, state would also ask for a no return to her residence or place of work.
And when I say no contact means you're not to go, it doesn't appear they were living together.
I don't believe so, Your Honor.
So,
They used to live together at some point.
well, you're not, obviously, the orders, no contact means you're not going to live with her now.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to go by her house. You're not going to go by her work. Okay. All right, this is, I can't stress how serious this is. It's easy to, with a couple strokes of the keys over social media to say outrageous things and threaten people. I don't know if you did or not, but it's reality now. All right? Not to go to defendant's residence or place of employment. All right.
All right, Your Honor. Thank you so much.
Morning, sir. Your name, please?
Denell Smith.
Is that your client, Mr. Rhodes?
Judge, thank you. Spencer Rhodes on behalf of Mr. Smith. This is a VOP, Judge, but quite unusual one where I believe a bond should be set for other conditions of release.
All right. So this is a initial appearance for violation of probation. And in this case, he was on probation, it looks like, for sale and delivery of controlled substance out of a 2019 case, and allegations that he violated are saying committed a violation of probation in Brevard County, left his residence without permission by going to Brevard County. I think that was it. The judge in the case in Division 12 has issued a warrant with no bond. I don't have authority to change that.
As a first appearance, Judge?
As a first appearance judge.
I believe that there are misstatements of fact in the affidavit of violation, Judge. For instance, you know, it's alleged that he committed a criminal offense, but then, of course, it says that criminal offense is violation of probation, which makes no sense.
Well, I don't disagree with with that assessment. But the allegation that he left the county without permission, you know, that's, the judge in Division 12 has already determined and has issued the warrant. So I don't believe that I've got the I know I don't have the authority to change the amount on the violation of probation warrant.
All right.
So the bond is set at none, and what'll happen is your attorney will have to file a bond motion with the judge in Division 12, which I'm sure he's right on that.
Yeah.
Okay, but I don't have authority to change it.
Okay.
Good luck, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Yes, maybe all other conditions, like the no contact, all other conditions of release to remain the same. That being no contact most of all. Good morning, sir. Your name, please?
Peter Barber.
Mr. Barber, you're here for initial appearance in a couple of cases. Saw you yesterday on the new charges, and I stayed those bonds. In addition, ordered no contact with the victim, no return to the scene. Okay. You were also out on bond. You failed to appear for a trial management conference.
No, I had one.
Yep.
I had a court date of the 20th.
It says you missed court on June 21st. June 21st.
What?
So, I think that was the 20th, make me do math here. 20th was Monday, the 21st was Tuesday. So
I was locked up. Couldn't get there.
okay. Well, in any event, in that, the failure to appear for the trial management, let's see.
I was in jail.
I heard you the first time.
Okay.
Hold on. Let's see. Is that correct?
I see that he was arrested on June the 22nd.
The June 20, yes, June 22nd, that's, and then I saw you on the 23rd, yesterday. So I don't, unless you just bonded out of jail, but in any event, you were out on bond in that case. So the judge on the failure to appear issued no bond warrants, but I'm gonna, at this point, they're set at no bond. I'm not gonna change that. It appears that you were not in jail, at least unless you were in jail and bonded out the day before, so,
Your Honor, these are failures to appear that
yes,
have no bond on them?
yes.
Okay, just to clarify.
So in 2021 CF 12704, that's the case that's been going on since last year. That bond is now 0 on both counts, and he does have bonds on the new cases with those conditions.
I'll be in here.
And I've appointed the public defender.
I can call you in here?
Bonds are stayed in the new case. Yeah, it's that sheet. Stayed with those conditions.
Your Honor, this is Mr. Nahart, a reset and a pleable. He's signing I discussed the offer and went through the plea form with him, and he's signing it now.
All right.
Were we appointed yesterday by chance?
We were not appointing the public defender, but if
That's
you're
fine.
assisting, if you want to be appointed, I'll appoint you.
There's no need, Your Honor. I spoke with him as a friend of the court. May I approach?
Yes. All right, good morning, sir. Your name, please?
Christopher Nyhart.
Mr. Nahart, I've been handed a plea form indicating you wish to plead no contest to the city ordinance violation of disorderly conduct. It would be a withhold of adjudication. You'd be given credit for the 3 days you served in jail, and I give you time to get the cost paid. Is that your understanding? Okay. All right, I'm holding up this plea form. It has your name at the top. Is this your signature at the bottom? Okay. you have the opportunity to read, review, and understand the document before you signed it?
Yes.
All right. To the offense of disorderly conduct, how do you plead?
No contest.
I'll accept no contest. I'll withhold adjudication. Give you credit for 3 days. I'll give you 350 days to get the cost paid, 30 days to appeal. The appeal must be in writing. So you'll be released as of this today. All right. Good luck.
And no action on the add-on bond?
No action on the add-on bond.
Here.
We'd waive his appearance, Your Honor.
What's the, so it's a DV. What's the state's position on bond?
Your Honor, state would request that you set a reasonable bond on this case. However, state would ask that you revoke his out on bond. Given that in that case he had a firearm, in this case is a violent offense.
Defense?
We would have you set a reasonable bond, Your Honor, and if you are inclined to act on the out-on-bond case, revoke and double.
All right, on the new battery, I'm going to set the bond at $500, order no contact with the victim, maintain a separate residence, possess no weapons or firearms. On the out-on bond, firearm charge, I'm going to revoke that bond and set it at none. Public defenders appointed in all cases.
Your Honor, this is, oh, I'm sorry.
Morning, sir. Your name, please?
Reyes Sebastian Sebastian.
All right, and is this case going to be resolved?
Yes, Your Honor, so withhold time served. I spoke with Mr. Reyes before court. He reviewed the plea form and he signed the plea form. May I approach?
Yes.
No need to appoint.
All right, Mr. Reyes, I'm handed a plea form indicating you wish to plead no contest to the city ordinance violation of open container. Case to be resolved with a withhold of adjudication credit for the 2 days you've served in jail and costs, and I'll give you time to get the cost paid. Is that your understanding?
Yes, sir.
I'm holding up this plea form. It has your name at the top. Is this your signature at the bottom?
Yes, sir.
Did you have the chance to read, review, and understand the document before you signed it? Okay. All right, to that city ordinance violation, open container, how do you plead?
No contact.
I'll accept that. I'll withhold adjudication, give you credit for 2 days. I'll give you 350 days to get the cost paid, 30 days to appeal. Any appeal must be in writing. You'll be released as to this today. All right. Good luck. I think he has 2 days. Arrest.
2 days.
Yeah, it's 2 days. Rest, 23rd. Morning, sir. Your name, please?
Harold Montgomery.
Mr. Montgomery, you're here for initial appearance. Got a couple of cases. I'm going to appoint the public defender in both these cases to represent you. The first case you were arrested for is aggravated battery with a deadly weapon that's domestic related. Okay. State, do you have a position on bond?
Your Honor, he is entitled to a reasonable bond. State's asking for a reasonable bond, just taking into account that he does have, it looks like at least 3, possibly 4 prior BAT DV arrests with this same victim. And they would also bring attention that children were present and DCF was called. And I believe the victim did have to undergo surgery for the injury sustained. So state would just ask that you take all that into account when setting his bond. As he also has another case with a firearm, state's just concerned regarding the victim's safety.
Defense, you have a position on bond?
Just reasonable bonds in all counts, Your Honor.
All right, on the aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, I've reviewed the affidavit. I'm going to set the bond at $10,000 in that case. Order no contact with the victim or any witnesses, including children. Maintain a separate residence. You can return to the shared residence one time with law enforcement escorting you to get personal belongings. You're not to go back there alone. You're not to have contact with her or the children. Any issues, other issues with the children, I mean, currently the court's order is to have no contact because according to the affidavit, they were witnesses and present at the time. Consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, possess no weapons or firearms. Also, a second case, 22 CF 2560, carrying concealed firearm, that bond is set at $3,500 with the same order not to possess any weapons or firearms. Good luck. Morning, sir. Your name, please? Mr. Perez, you're here for initial appearance on a couple of cases, looks like 3. First case, you were arrested. This is the newest one. 22 CF 7303, you were arrested for resisting an officer without violence, possession of ammunition by a convicted felon, carrying a concealed weapon, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Oh, I am going to appoint the public defender in all cases. In that case, bonds have been set at $500 on count 1, $5,000 on count 2, $500 on count 3, $5,000 on count 4, or to possess no weapons or firearms, or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and that'll be in all cases. Second case, 22 CF 7276. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for aggravated assault with a firearm and simple battery, or its battery domestic violence, stemming from June the 20th. State, you have a position on bond?
Your Honor, you see, would ask for a reasonable bond, take into account that he has a new law offense, arguably with a firearm, and 2 other offenses also arguably with firearms that are all recent. This case stemmed from June 22nd. The other case, I believe, stemmed from, I believe, also June 22nd, and then the new law offense from June 23rd. It seems like a enhanced pattern of behavior, all with a firearm. Just it would have you take that into account along with Mr. Perez's history. And I believe he's only been in the area, according to pretrial services, 3 months to a year. So state's concerned about his ability and willingness to show back up to court since he has a lack of community ties.
Defense?
There's reasonable bonds on all counts, Your Honor.
The court's got serious concerns because I've read the affidavit, the allegation of the firearm and the threat to kill, and that's the same in the other case. And he's currently on misdemeanor probation with a no contact order with the same victim that apparently was just resolved in May of this year. So in less than a month, we've got 3 new cases. I mean, the court's got concerns whether there's any condition of release that would protect the victim because it appears that he's not going to abide by any court order. Does the state have anything to say about that? I'm not.
We currently don't have a pretrial detention motion. I can reach out to that ASA, because state does share the same concerns that Your Honor put on the record. However, state doesn't have a pretrial detention motion at this time, and he is otherwise entitled to bond on these charges. So.
All right, on defense, do you have a position on bond on the?
Your Honor, he is entitled to a reasonable bond as there is no pretrial detention motion and it's not a punishable by life offense. The court must set bond in these cases.
All right, in 2022 CF 7276, on the aggravated assault with a firearm, I'm gonna set that bond at $100,000. On the domestic violence battery, the bond will be set at $500. Order no contact, possess no weapons or firearms. The last case is 22 CF 7270. It's an aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, the same victim. I'm going to set that bond unless anybody's position has changed from what the argument just was.
Not from the state, Your Honor.
On that aggravated battery, the bond's going to be set at $100,000 with the order no contact, possess no weapons or firearms. Morning, sir. Your name, please?
Joshua Adams.
Mr. Adams, you're here for initial appearance. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You've been arrested for a battery. It's domestic related, also a violation of pretrial release condition in a domestic violence case. Okay. State, do you have a position on bond?
Your Honor, state would ask for just reasonable bonds on the new offense, however, for you to revoke his out on bond assault.
Defense?
Your Honor, we would request reasonable bonds on the current charges, and if you are inclined to act on the out on bond case, to revoke and double the bond amount.
In the new case, 22 mm 4212, the battery, I'm going to set the bond at $5,000. On count two, I'll set the bond at $500. I'll order no contact with the victim. Maintain separate residence, possess no weapons or firearms. In 22 mm 3592 AO, just bonded out of jail 3 weeks ago, it looks like, or a little more than 3 weeks ago. The court is going to revoke that bond and set it at none. All right. Good luck. Morning, ma'am. Your name, please? Chisholm, you're here for initial appearance. Been arrested for violation of a pretrial release condition in a domestic violence case and a trespass after warning. You're currently out on bond on a battery on a person 65 years of age or older. And we do have a witness present. Okay. Before we hear from the witness, ma'am, according to the application for the appointment of the public defender, you indicated that your take-home pay is $800 a week?
No. 3.
3? Okay, all right. I'll appoint the public defender. When you said 300? Okay, all right. 300 a week, you qualify. I'll appoint the public defender. All right, let's place the witness under oath.
Can you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
Can you state your name for the record?
Georgette C. Parrish.
Thank you. You can put your hand down.
Thank you. Ms. Parrish, what's your relationship to Ms. Chisholm?
I am her grandmother.
All right, if she's released, if the court sees fit to grant her a bond and release her, do you want to have contact with her, or do you want her to stay away from you?
She's all right. I think I could.
Okay, I
have nobody but her.
Okay. Well, understand, while this case is pending, Do you want her to come around, or do you want her to stay away from you?
Well, may I speak, please? Can
I'm asking you questions. So understand today is not the trial. What I'm trying to just, what the point of this process right here, right now, is to set a bond and reasonable conditions of release, or whether I should release her back, because it appears the allegation is that now she's violated the conditions of the bond that she was out on. So that's why it's important to talk to you to figure out, and that's why I'm trying to get at from you what you think. If she's released, do you think you'd be safe?
Yes.
Okay. So are you in fear of her?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Other issues that she may have with substance abuse or mental health, I don't know. We're not here to resolve all that today. I'm just trying to figure out what are we going to do with her and keep you safe at the same time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. State, do you have any questions for the victim?
No, Your Honor.
Does the defense?
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Ma'am, is there anything else that you'd like to say?
I would like for her to get herself together, get some counseling or something to help her mentally.
Okay.
To help her with this explosive behavior she exhibits at times.
Okay. All right.
Your Honor, state's concern is she's out on bond for the battery and persisting type of order with the same victim. And then the victim's testifying today that she's not afraid of her and has no problem. However, she called. Hence the reason for the case today, when the defendant was allegedly, I believe, just on her front porch. So I understand the victim's testimony today. However, state's just still concerned due to the victim calling, even if she says she doesn't fear for the victim or the defendant today.
Okay. All right. Does the defense have a position on the bond and the out on bond?
We would request reasonable bonds on the current charges, and then, based on witness testimony, take no action on the out on bond case.
All right, on the new case, the violation of the pretrial release condition, I'll set that bond at $500. On the trespass, the bond is going to be stayed at $100. On the out on bond, I just saw you on Monday, or I'm sorry, you saw the judge last week. You bonded on Monday, and there was a no contact order, and you promptly violated that. So the violation of the court order, I'm going to revoke the bond and set it at none. So I've appointed you the public defender. They can file the appropriate motion with the judge in Division 20, ask for a bond, and in the meantime, maybe other conditions. So at this point, I've revoked the bond that she's out on. We're going to keep her in jail for a little while because she violated the court order. And in the meantime, and the attorney that's been appointed to represent her can file a bond motion, other conditions of release to get her back out. But in the meantime, maybe some other stuff can be coordinated to help her out with those issues that you're concerned about. But the court's got a concern that if she's released out on bond and I ordered no contact, she's going to violate it, come right back. And that's concerning to the court. As you've expressed, she's got some issues with anger and mental health, things like that.
Her, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Is there anything else you want to say?
How long would it be, sir? How long would you keep her, sir?
Well, that's what you would probably need to do is just contact her attorney. I'm not setting any set amount of time. It's because the case is just getting started. So I can't give you a date. I can't give you a period of time.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Just no contact, no return. Morning, sir. Your name, please?
James Christ.
Mr. Christ, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for a battery. It's domestic related, and we do have a witness.
Your Honor.
Yes.
May I make a probable cause argument before we interview the witness?
Yes.
The arrest affidavit's lacking in some of the context of how the arresting officer gained the information. It sounds more conclusory than anything. So for that reason, I would have you not find PC on the battery charge.
Your Honor, for battery, state just has to show an unwanted touching against the victim's will. The affidavit reads, the defendant grabbed the victim's shoulders with her hands, threw her on the bed against her will. State would argue that's enough for PC at this time.
I'll deny the challenge to probable cause. I believe there's probable cause in the affidavit. All right, I am going to appoint the public defender to represent you, and can we swear in the witness?
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name for the record.
Sarah Bennett.
All right, Ms. Bennett, I see you're listed as a victim in the affidavit.
Yes.
If Mr. Christ is released on bond, do you want him to have contact with you, or do you want him to stay away from you?
No contact.
Okay, no contact. All right. Does the state have any questions for Ms. Bennett?
No, Your Honor.
Does the defense have any questions?
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay. And I just want to make sure that you do not reside together, is that correct?
We do reside together,
Okay. All right.
but
All right, so at this point,
it's my house. It's my family's house,
okay. All right, so,
and I'm scared. I get scared.
okay, well, I'm going to order you'll hear what I'm going to say, but I'm certainly going to order no contact.
Thank you.
The state, you have a position on bond?
Your Honor, state would just ask for a reasonable bond. He does have two fairly recent failures to appear, last one being in 2018. Several prior convictions, some of which are violent in nature, including other batteries and felony batteries with great bodily harm. I also state is concerned regarding him showing back up to court, as he does have an outstanding warrant from Indiana. Currently, there is no extradition on that. However, state is just concerned that he may do the same thing in Florida. So state would just ask for a reasonable bond, taking all that into account.
Okay. Defense, do you have a position on bond?
Just reasonable bond conditions, Your Honor.
I'm going to set the bond at $1,000. I am going to order that you have absolutely no contact with Sarah Bennett, that you maintain a separate residence. I'm going to allow him to return to the residence one time with law enforcement escorting him to get some personal belongings. He's not to come back alone, not to have any contact with you, direct or indirect. He's to possess no weapons or firearms, consume no alcohol or illegal drugs. All right. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Light in my head.
All right, good morning, sir. Are you able to hear me? Okay. Is that thumbs up or is that turn it up?
That's good.
Good, okay. All right, good morning. Could you state your name, please?
Good morning, sir.
What's your name, please?
William Lawrence Franklin.
Franklin, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for a battery that's domestic related. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. State, do you have a position on bond?
Appears Mr. Franklin doesn't qualify for PTR. However, his last history seems to be fairly old, from 1983. So state would just ask for a reasonable bond.
Okay, defense?
Reasonable bond, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to set the bond at $500. I am going to order that you have no contact with, it appears, your sister Adela Franklin. If I have that right? Yeah. You're going to have to maintain a separate residence from her.
Sir?
So if she's residing at that Detweiler Drive address, you're going to have to live somewhere else while this matter is pending.
Okay, no,
Now, you can return to the house one time with law enforcement escorting you to get your personal belongings. You're not to go back there alone. You're not to have contact with her. All right? Good luck, sir.
thank you.
Emily Hoover is mental health.
We would waive the appearance, Your Honor.
Okay, on Emily Hoover, state you have a position, I'll appoint the public defender. State you have a position on bond.
State would just ask for the standard bond, Your Honor. It doesn't appear she has any egregious history.
Okay.
Reasonable conditions, Your Honor.
All right, it looks like she was not, she may, I don't know, she may qualify for multiple bake racks. So what I'm going to order is, it looks like there's a mental health history. I'm going to order mental health pretrial release if she qualifies, or I'll set a bond at $500. Order no contact with the victim, maintain a separate residence, one-time return with law enforcement. Okay, all right. Morning, ma'am, your name, please?
My name is Jocelyn Pollock.
May I have a moment, Your Honor?
Sure.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Pollock, you're here for initial appearance. Been arrested for criminal mischief and a battery. It's domestic related. Public defender's been appointed, and you're also currently out on bond on another case. Has the state filed on the out on bond yet?
No, Your Honor, we have not.
State, what's your position on bond?
Your Honor, state would just ask for a reasonable bond, take into account, even though state has not filed on the out on bond case, she does have another violent arrest that was recent. That case appears January of 2022. However, I do believe it was a different victim than the victim alleged in this affidavit.
Defense, do you have a position on bond?
Just reasonable conditions on the current charges, Your Honor, and as the state hasn't filed in 6 months on the out on bond case, I would have you take no action on that.
I'll take no action on the out on bond. Criminal mischief, the bond's been set at $500 on the battery. I'll also set the bond at $500. I'm going to order you to have no contact with your sister, Jasmine Pollock. You're to maintain a separate residence from her. So if she's living at that Americana Boulevard address, you're going to have to live somewhere else. You can return there one time with law enforcement to get your personal belongings. Do not go back there alone. Don't have any contact with your sister or the other victim in the case. I believe the victim of the criminal mischief. No contact. Possess no weapons or firearms. Right. Good luck, ma'am. Morning. Your name, please?
Rogers.
Mr. Rogers, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for battery. It's domestic related. Are you asking for the appointment of the public defender, or are you going to hire an attorney in this case, sir?
Public defender.
Okay. All right. Did you fill out an application for the public defender?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we don't have it. What, are you currently working?
Yes, sir.
What's your approximate take-home pay per month?
I just started a new job last week, honestly.
Okay. So have you even got a paycheck yet?
I know, sir.
All right, I'll appoint the public defender. State, you have a position on bond?
Your Honor, just a reasonable bond, take into account he does have some prior DV arrest history.
Okay, defense?
Just reasonable conditions, Your Honor.
All right, I'm going to set the bond at $500. I'm going to order that you have no contact with Haley Linneo Quinn, that you maintain a separate residence from her. If she's residing at that Houndsworth Court apartment, you're going to have to live somewhere else. You can return there one time with law enforcement escorting you to get your personal belongings. Don't go back there alone. Don't have contact with her. I'm going to order you not to consume any alcohol or illegal drugs while this matter's pending.
Just a moment, Your Honor.
I ain't gonna be able to pay that unless I.
Morning, sir, come on up.
Walter Ivy is in the hospital, Your Honor.
Ivy's, okay.
We'd waive the appearance, Your Honor.
Okay, what about Bernard Henry? Is that you?
Sir, I'm joining you, sir.
Jernigan. Bernard, I've got a Bernard Henry on a out-of-county warrant.
You don't have that on our docket, Your Honor. What's the inmate number, Your Honor?
I've got a case, you want agency numbers 22-38705?
No, it should be like a 2201 or
Gotcha. All right. 170-224-63.
Hmm?
170. Okay, we'll look at that. Okay, all right, well, let's do, you said Ivy is in
The hospital, Your Honor.
the hospital, okay.
We would waive, Your Honor.
Yeah, it's a no bond warrant, so, out of Palm Beach County, so they'll just notify, and they'll come get him. All right. All right, morning, you're Samuel Jernigan?
Sir, I am.
Mr. Jernigan, you're here for initial appearance. You were arrested on a Seminole County warrant for a violation of probation. The bond is set at none. So they're going to notify Seminole County that you're here. They'll come get you within 24 hours, but that doesn't include the weekend. So it may be Monday. May get lucky. It may be today, but. All right. Good luck. Is he just not set for today?
No, sir, he wasn't set for today.
Okay.
I don't have that either.
Okay, all right.
Brian Torres Cruz bonded.
Okay, Torres Cruz bonded. Morning, your name, sir?
Hans Hazel.
Mr. Hazel, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested pursuant to a warrant for violation of probation. You were on probation for dealing in stolen property. Allegations that you violated are you committed a new law offense in Osceola County of trespass, and new law offense resisting without violence. You haven't completed community service hours or your impulse control class. I'm going to appoint the public defender, and the judge on the warrant set the bond at none. Good luck, sir. Morning, sir. Your name, please?
Sylvester Kendrick III.
All right. Sir, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested pursuant to a warrant for a violation of probation. You were on probation for aggravated assault. Allegations that you violated are that you've committed the offenses of, it's like a smuggling contraband and possession of drugs out of Putnam County. I'm going to appoint the public defender. The judge on the violation has set the bond at none. All right, good luck, sir.
Alfonso Matthews is medical.
Medical.
We would waive the appearance, Your Honor.
Okay, on Mr. Matthews, I'm going to appoint the public defender. He's arrested on 2 separate cases of violation of community control. Bond set at none in both.
I have 3,
You
Your
say
Honor.
3 cases?
Three?
Your Honor?
Okay,
Yeah, there's 3 cases.
There's a third, I'm sorry. 3 separate violations of community control, 3 separate cases. No bond in all three. Public defender appointed in all cases. All right, so we got our interpreter cases, our Mandarin, and our Haitian or Creole.
Lyndon Smith bond?
Yeah.
Your Honor, state's ready for 33 days if you want to do those while we're waiting.
Do those. We have a big stack. First one is Melanie Warren, 22 CF 2857.
Denied and information was filed.
Denied. Douglas Saunders, 22 CF 4621.
Denied and information was filed.
Your Honor, can we go back to Miss Melanie Warren?
Yes.
As to bond, I don't know if Your Honor's inclined to set a new bond amount, but I had an email from a fellow public defender who had spoken with their ASA about setting a new bond amount in their case at $1,500. I did send that along to Miss Fleming. I didn't know.
Let's hold, we got the interpreter, so let's do that, and then we'll come back to the 33-day motion. Good morning, this is Judge Duckworth. Do they have the Creole interpreter on the line?
Yes, good morning. I'm the Creole interpreter.
Good morning. We're going to do the interpretation out loud. Have you been sworn in, Madam Interpreter?
No, not yet.
Do you solemnly swear to translate from Creole to English, from English to Creole, to the best of your ability?
Yes, I swear.
Thank you.
All right. Good morning, ma'am. State your name, please.
My name is Rose Chardine Jean Lewis.
Thank you. And good morning, ma'am. Is your name Daphne Joseph?
Bonjour, madame. Est-ce que non, c'est Daphne Joseph?
Oui.
Yes.
Ma'am, you're here for initial appearance in case number 22 CF 7305. You've been arrested for aggravated child abuse with a weapon.
Madame Oula, c'est pour premier apparent sous devant tribunal là, dans cas qui c'est 22 CF 7305. Et yo arrêté ou, c'est concernant yo chargé ou pour agression aggravée sur un timoun avec un instrument.
I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you in this case.
Moi pral ba ou yon défenseur public qui pral représenter ou dans cas ça.
And we do have a witness. Could we swear in the witness, please?
Et nous gagnons témoin. Et témoin pral les jurer.
Can you have her raise her right hand, please?
Levez mes doigts tous, s'il vous plaît.
You.
Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give should be the truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
Est-ce que vous jurez que témoignage ou pral balance, c'est vérité, c'est toute vérité, et que bon Dieu aide vous?
Yes.
Yes.
Please state your name for the record.
Tant pis pour dossier nous, ban nous non.
Non, Marie-Joseph.
You need
My
to
name is
speak,
Marie
speak
Joseph.
a little closer to the microphone, please, so everybody can hear you.
Parlez au petit crasse pi près micro pour que tout le monde t'entende.
All right, ma'am, what is your relationship to the defendant, Miss Joseph?
Madame, qui relation ou avec défenseur qui c'est Miss Joseph? Can you repeat the question, please?
What's your relationship to the defendant?
Qui relation ou avec moun k'ap défend tête li a?
Li men petit fille moi?
My daughter.
Ya, bon. Moi gen 4 ans depuis m'pa vivre côté lié de Pennsylvania. Mais nous toujours parler. Et toujours fait petit monde parler ensemble avec moi. Et nous gen petit monde parler ensemble avec moi, nous toujours faire parler sur téléphone ensemble avec eux pour saluer grand-mère. Et qu'on y a et pendant il dit plus grand t'es attaché ensemble avec moi parce qu'il est dans même.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna ask you to stop.
Et puis il dit plus grand pas vérité. Il besoin de grand-mère, il besoin de venir côté mieux. Il dit pas de problème mais
Ma'am, you need to just hold on a second so we can try to get the interpreter to repeat what you've said.
Madame, faut que tu en seconde, faut bien interpréter la temps pour capable répéter. I haven't been able to see my daughters for 4 years. We haven't been able to live in the same place for 4 years, but we've visited each other, and I've talked to my grandchildren on the phone. I FaceTime them, and they called me grandma, and when we talk on the phone, they're always happy to hear my voice or to see me.
Does the state have any questions for the witness?
Est-ce que tu as des questions pour témoin?
No, Your Honor.
Bon, une question, si on pose une question, on répond même pas. Une question parce que
Does the defense have any questions for the witness?
No questions, Your Honor.
Est-ce que défenseur a des questions pour témoin? Pas de questions, votre honneur.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Merci, madame.
Does the state have a position on bond?
yeah.
Est-ce que l'État a une position sur l'argent pour l'État libéré en bonne?
State would ask a reasonable bond as Ms. Joseph is otherwise entitled to it. I do believe there is also a shelter hearing that will be heard, I believe, today as well regarding the same child.
Oui, nous gagnons en position pour ça et nous pensons que lui-même les qualifié pour le taka recevoir une bonne et ensuite il gagne un paraître pour lui pour le jouer dans shelter. C'est concernant même petit monde dans tout.
Your Honor, state is unsure about Ms. Joseph's community ties, as I believe pretrial didn't have the ability to interview her.
Donc nous pas sûr que qui titre que monde n'a li gagne pour le faire et nous gagne pour nous ta capable interview petit monde là.
Does the defense have a position on bond?
Et faut ça gagne en position sur bonne là.
Your Honor, just reasonable conditions of release and comply with any DCF orders.
Votre honneur, c'est une résolution que nous-mêmes nous sommes capables de prendre qui est raisonnable et pour avec tout ordre avec DCF là.
The court is going to set bond at $2,500.
Tribunal la mette bonne là à $2,500
with the condition that the defendant maintain a separate residence and have no contact with the child.
avec condition que mon cap défendre tête li a li séparé de mon nan li pas dans même côté avec lui
And that she comply with all orders of the Department of Children and Families.
et que lui-même li soumet tête li à tout l'ordre que département ti moun avec famille mandé li.
Your Honor, state would ask for no weapons or firearms.
In addition, the court will order the defendant not to possess any weapons or firearms.
Est-ce que I'm sorry can you please repeat that?
Also, the defendant is to possess no weapons, no firearms.
Et mon cap défendre tête li a li pas ka procéder ni armes ni pièces et bâton instrument contre le café moun mal.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for using our services.
Fini?
All right, good morning. This is Judge Duckworth. Do we have our Mandarin interpreter on the language line?
Yes, standing by.
Good morning. Have you been sworn in this morning?
Not yet.
Do you solemnly swear to translate from Mandarin to English, from English to Mandarin to the best of your ability?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
All right. Good morning, sir. Could you state your name, please?
先生，请陈述你的姓名。
My name is Xu Dongwen. 我会一点点英文，像我的名字是旭东温，我姓温，叫旭东。
I speak a little bit English. My last name Wen, first name Xu Dong.
All right, sir, you're here for initial appearance in case number 2022 MM4197.
先生，这是呢，第一次出庭，案例号码是2022-4197。
好的。
You've been arrested for the offense of battery that's domestic related.
你是因为家庭里面殴打他人而被逮捕。
我没有去打他，是我想查看他的手机，然后他不让看，然后我们发生了一点点的争执，然后他要走出门，我把他手抓住，不让他走出去，我没殴打他。
I didn't beat her. I was trying to go through her cell phone. She refused it. We turned into argument, and she tried to walk out of the door. I grabbed her arms and hand, tried to stop her from going out.
At this time, sir, today is not the trial. Today is simply to determine conditions of releasing you from jail. We're going to hear from...
先生
I'm sorry, go ahead.
先生，现在呢，我们不是在做审判，那么只是第一次出庭，决定呢这个事情案例的性质，以及呢释放你的条件。
好的。
Okay.
We have a witness. Good morning, ma'am. State your name, please.
我们还有证人，请陈述你的姓名，女士。
我的名字叫巧玲珠。
My name is 巧玲珠。
All right, ma'am, if Mr. Wang is released, do you want to have contact with him or do you want him to stay away from you?
那么，如果王先生今天被释放了，你是同意他继续跟你有接触呢，还是说呢他不能跟你接触呢？
不能跟我接触。
Stay away from me.
All right, does the state have any questions for the witness, victim?
No, Your Honor.
No questions from the defense, Your Honor.
我可以说一句话吗？
Can I say a few words?
Okay. At this point, I've not appointed an attorney to represent you. You do have the right to remain silent. I think if you had an attorney representing you, they would tell you that it's in your best interest not to say anything at this point. Everything is being recorded. Today's not the trial. Today will not be the resolution to this matter. We're simply determining conditions of release at this point.
先生，那么你有权利保持沉默，你也有权利请律师，但是呢，这是第一次出庭，我们呢只是要决定对你的释放条件做出考量。我们的这个当庭说话呢会被录音。今天呢不是审判，我们只是决定释放你的条件，不是解决这个案例，好吗？
He qualifies for pretrial release. Does the state object to pretrial release?
No, Your Honor.
组成一个家很困难的，我很喜欢你，你给他讲，你让我回去吧。
Okay. That do not address. Do not address her. At this point, I'm going to release you on pretrial release with the condition.
那么我
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
请你现在呢不要跟他说话，我现在呢做出呢审前的这个预释放，好吗？
I'm going to order you to have absolutely no contact with the victim.
那么我要求你不要用任何的形式去接触这个受害人。
No contact means no direct or indirect contact.
我说的这个接触是直接的和间接的，任何形式。
If you have contact in violation of the court's order,
如果你违反法庭的命令的话，
you should expect to get rearrested, taken back to jail.
那么你将会被再次逮捕，投入监狱。
Good luck. Thank you.
好的，祝你好运，谢谢。
Are there any other conditions of residences?
I don't believe they were living together. Or it would be it would be maintain a separate residence from her.
我相信两个人呢没有住在一起，所以继续这种分居的状态。
Thank you very much, Madam Interpreter.
Thank you for choosing our service. You have a great day.
You too.
Thanks, Your Honor.
I invest hours of my time every single day to make these videos possible. Unfortunately, the engagement on my videos has been very low recently. Most of the bond court viewers do not hit the like button on my videos. Please, 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 hit the like button on my videos. The YouTube algorithms heavily favor videos with more likes. If you do not like my videos, then please tell me why in the comments and I can make changes to improve the channel. Thank you to all of you that do hit the like button. I am sorry that you have to hear this repetitive message, but without this message, less than 10% of viewers will like my videos.
Frederick Joseph Dalpay.
Mr. Dalpay, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for trespass on property other than a structure or conveyance.
There was an offer to resolve, Your Honor.
The state committed an offer to Mr. Dalpay of an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, and no return to any of the UCF properties.
Your Honor, I had a chance to speak with Mr. Dalpay before court. We went over the plea form. I believe he wishes to resolve no contest today. He does have some property left at UCF if he's allowed a one-time return with law enforcement to receive those, to pick up those items.
Okay.
Spoke with him as a friend of the court as well. May I approach?
Yes. Mr. Dalpay, I'm being handed a plea form indicating you wish to plead no contest to the trespass charge, be adjudicated guilty, be given credit for the 2 days you've served in jail, be ordered not to return to any University of Central Florida property, and I'll let you go back one time with law enforcement escorting. You have to call the sheriff's office to escort you onto the property to get any personal belongings that may be there. Okay. Is that your understanding?
Yes, sir. The reason I'm pleading nolo contendere is because of a lot of donated time to these worthy causes where they take credit for your hard work.
Okay.
And that's why I went out there.
Okay, I just want to make sure that you want to get the matter resolved today?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm holding up this plea form. Has your name at the top. Is this your signature at the bottom?
Yes, it is.
All right, did you have the opportunity to read, review, and understand the document before you signed it?
I lack eyewear, but I understand it already.
Okay.
I'm very familiar with this kind of form.
Okay.
I went through the plea form with him as well, Your Honor.
All right, very good. So to that misdemeanor trespass, how do you plead?
Nolo contendere.
I'll accept that. I'll adjudicate you guilty, give you credit for 2 days' time served, order you not to return to the University of Central Florida, any properties out at UCF. You can return one time, but you have to be escorted by law enforcement to get personal belongings that may be held somewhere out there at UCF. Don't go back there alone. If you go back alone, expect to just get rearrested. Okay? All right. You have 350 days to pay the cost, 30 days to appeal. Any appeal must be in writing.
What were the costs? Oh, okay, all right. Yeah. All right.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. That's still paid.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Laura Bretaña, Spanish interpreter, previously sworn.
All right, thank you. We have connection?
Sí.
There is contact, Your Honor.
Vale.
Good morning, sir. Your name, please?
Julio César Bermúdez Molina.
Julio César Bermúdez Molina.
Say.
Yes.
Sir, you're here for initial appearance in case 22 CF 4209. You've been arrested for solicitation to procure for prostitution. All right, based on the affidavit, it appears that you make too much money to afford qualify for the public defender. The bond is set at $500. I'm going to order you not to return to the scene. All right. Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir. Your name, please?
Jeffrey Mauricio del Cid Rodríguez.
Jeffrey Mauricio del Cid Rodríguez.
Sir, you're here for initial appearance. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender. This is case 22 MM 4214.
No entendí, ¿me podría repetir de nuevo? Disculpe.
I didn't understand. I apologize. Could you please repeat?
You're here for an initial appearance. Case number 22 MM 4214. You've been arrested for solicitation to procure for prostitution. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. The bond is set at $500. Good luck, sir.
Está bien.
Fine.
Yeah, no return. Our last case is good morning, sir. Your name, please?
Leobaldo Vasconcelos García.
Leobaldo Vasconcelos García.
Sir, you're here for initial appearance, case 22 MM 4222. You've been arrested for solicitation to procure for prostitution. Going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond is set at $500. I'm going to order you not to return to the scene. Good luck, sir.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Morning, Judge. For the record, Attorney Jay Ruth, on behalf of Ricky Smith.
All right, good morning, ma'am. Are you Ricky Smith?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, we're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested pursuant to a warrant. Total of 5 charges. First is, the first 2 appear to be the same. Human trafficking for commercial sexual activity of a child under 18. 2 counts of that. 2 counts of lewd or lascivious battery. And 1 count of unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Okay, it appears that first 2 counts are life felonies. Is that correct, State?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and what's the State have a position on bond?
Yes, Your Honor. This is actually a statewide case. The statewide attorney has filed a notice of prosecuting authority. However, I have spoken to her, and we are requesting that she be held no bond on 1 and 2, and reasonable bonds on 3, 4, and 5 at this time, along with the condition of no contact with her co-defendant or the victims.
Counsel?
Judge, I just ask you to use your judicial discretion. My client's 22 years old. She works in hair and nails. She's got 2 children, 5 and 7 years old. She's lived in Central Florida her entire life. Asked to set a reasonable bond on count 1 and 2.
Okay. I'm going to stay the bonds at none on 1 and 2. And ma'am, your attorney can file the appropriate bond motion in the division where the case is going to be heard. So counts 1 and 2 will remain no bond. Counts 3 and 4 pursuant to the warrant were $10,000 each. Count 5, $1,000. In addition, I'm going to order that you have no contact with any victim, witness, or co-defendant in this matter. All right.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Good luck. Good morning, sir. Your name, please?
Leon Betancourt, sir.
All right, sir, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for solicitation to procure for prostitution. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond is set at $500. I'm going to order that you not return to the scene. I'll take no action on the out on bonds.
Your Honor, could we hear the case that was set for plea before moving into the greater docket? Well, I was just going to waive the appearance anyway.
Okay, this is recalling Clifford Good.
That's right, Your Honor.
And do we have are you Mr. Good?
No, Your Honor, Mr. Good was, I believe, in medical.
Okay.
I requested the hour to see if the attorney would be able to stop by, but they were not, so we would just waive his appearance today. And they may be able to resolve it next week.
Okay, is that a, just double check, do we have may already have a court date? I granted an ROR a month ago. Why? Do you know why he's still in?
He may be held on some other case, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. So I'll take no action. It's currently set for the August 8th pretrial in my division. So counsel in my division can set it for something earlier, but otherwise I'm just going to leave it set. And I'll just take no action today.
Thank you.
All right, come on up, sir. Blackburn bonded, thank you. Good morning, sir. Your name, please?
Jonathan Bloomquist.
Mr. Bloomquist, you're here for initial appearance. Been arrested for assault on a law enforcement officer. I'm going to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you, and the bond is set at $500.
Your Honor, State would ask for a no return to the Ding T on Millennium Plaza Way.
Okay, and I'm going to order that you not return to the business Ding T. Yeah, looks like you've been trespassed. If you go back, you're just going to get rearrested. You don't want to return, okay? Good luck. What do you name? Your name, please?
Crystal.
You're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for trespass in a structure or conveyance.
Say that again?
You've been arrested for trespass. You're Crystal Bostic?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Arrested for trespassing at the downtown links?
Yes. He didn't tell me that until
Okay.
okay.
I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You've got a $500 bond. I'll take no action on the out on bond.
You said no action.
Morning, ma'am, your name, please?
Amanda Clark.
Ms. Clark, you're here for initial appearance.
Your Honor.
Yes.
If appointed, we'd have a PC challenge. There's nothing written in the arrest affidavit.
Your Honor, I would ask for a 24-hour reset.
All right, Ms. Clark, I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You've been arrested for loitering or prowling and resisting an officer without violence. At this point, I'll give the state an additional 24 hours to supplement with probable cause. But you do have the bonds if you're able to make them. I've appointed an attorney. So if you haven't posted a bond by tomorrow, they'll bring you back.
Was that a $500 on count and a $100?
I'll set, loitering or prowling will be set at $100. The resisting will be set at $500. That's good. Good morning, sir. Your name, please?
Randall Lee Cody, sir.
Mr. Cody, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for trespass, an occupied structure or conveyance. Do you want me to appoint the Office of the Public Defender to represent you in this case, sir?
No, sir.
No? Okay. All right, your bond's been set at $500. And I'm going to order that you not return to the Party City on Cimarron Boulevard where you were arrested. Okay? Good luck.
Can I take this matter to take care of this today? Be guilty?
Is the state make an offer?
Not at this time, Your Honor. He just pled to another trespass at the same location.
Yeah, they're not going to make an offer today because you just got another one of these resolved. So, but you're not asking for the public defender. So, so at this point, I'm just going to leave the bond at $500 with the order not to return. All right. Good luck. Yeah, Toga. Morning, sir. Your name, please?
Braxton Crenshaw.
Mr. Crenshaw, you're here for initial appearance, a couple of cases. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. First, you've been arrested for possession of drug paraphernalia and less than 20 grams of cannabis. Those bonds are set at $500 each. Next, you were arrested pursuant to a capias for the offense of scheme to defraud.
And yes, Your Honor, his bond was set at PTR, but can you strike that and give him a monetary bond because he doesn't qualify?
I'll give you a monetary bond of $1,000. It doesn't appear you qualify for pretrial release. In addition, I'm going to order that you have no contact with the, it looks like it's a former employer. No contact with anybody at your former employer, and not to return to your former place of work. That being the scene.
Your Honor.
Yes.
I believe the state was going to announce no information on the possession and drug paraphernalia charges.
Yes, Your Honor, state will announce no info as to the 4208.
Okay, so in 2022 MM 4208, you'll simply be ROR. You'll be released. The state's not going to pursue those charges. You'll be released as to that case. You have a $1,000 bond on the other case. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck.
Jenny Frazier refused.
Frazier refused.
We would waive the appearance, Your Honor. My only concern is on the charge of conspiracy. I think you need two people to conspire with.
Conspiracy. Am I missing one? This is on Jenny Frazier. I've got a petty theft and assault.
On my face sheet, I have conspiracy to commit petty theft.
Wait a second, let's look at the. Do we have 3 cases? Am I missing one? Oh, conspiracy to commit petty theft. I think that's just an error.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so, I'll appoint the public defender in both cases. Bond is set at 500 in each case, with the order, not to return to the Wawa. 13501 West Colonial Drive. Good morning, sir. Your name, please?
William Johnson.
Mr. Johnson, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for petty theft, more than $100, and another, actually 2 more. It's a total of 3 petty thefts. Okay. First one, 22 mm 271 AA. That bond is set at $500. I'm going to order that you not return to the Lowe's, 1651 Orange Blossom Trail. Second one, 22 mm 4201. Petty theft, bond is $500, not returned to the Lowe's, 8700 West Colonial Drive. Third is 22 mm 4200. Petty theft, bond is $500, order that you not return to the Lowe's at 8700 West Colonial Drive. I've appointed the public defender in all these cases, and you're currently out of ROR 22 mm 3955. I'm going to revoke that bond, revoke the ROR, and set the bond at none. Good luck. Medical, okay.
Your Honor, could we request a reset on that? I believe it's a playable trespass.
Well,
I didn't convey an offer on that because it's a trespass in a stolen vehicle.
So the state was not making an offer on that?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, so
We'll waive that, Your Honor.
I'll appoint the public defender on the trespass. The bonds stayed at $500. Take no action on the add-on bond. Medical. Good morning, sir. Your name, please?
Jordan McNeil.
Mr. McNeil, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for solicitation and procure for prostitution. Are you asking for the appointment of the public defender in this case, or are you going to hire an attorney, sir?
I have my own, sir.
Okay. All right. The bond's set at $500, and I'm going to order that you not return to the scene. All right. Good luck. Morning, sir. Your name, please?
Simeone Pierre.
Mr.
Your Honor,
Go ahead.
this is the state has an offer on this case of an adjudication, time served and no return. I spoke with Mr. Pierre before court. He went through the plea form, and I believe he wishes to plead no contest, and he's signing the plea form now.
Okay.
May I approach?
Yes. All right, Mr. Pierre, I've been handed a plea form indicating you wish to plead no contest to the trespass after warning, that you'd be adjudicated guilty, be given credit for the day you've served in jail, you'd be ordered not to return to the scene, and pay the cost, and I'll give you time to get that paid. And that would resolve the matter without a trial. Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
Holding up the plea form, it has your name at the top. Is this your signature at the bottom?
Yes.
Did you have the opportunity to read, review, and understand the document before you signed it?
No, I didn't read it.
Okay. Do,
Did give him a plea form to review, Your Honor, as a friend of the court.
okay. All right, so Mr. Perry, you understand that we're going to resolve this. We're not going to have a trial, and everything that a trial entails, that this matter is going to be resolved and you'll be released today.
Yes.
And that's what you want to do?
Yes.
Okay. All right, to that trespass after warning, how do you plead?
No contest.
Okay, I'll accept no contest. I'll adjudicate you guilty, give you credit for the 1 day you've served in jail, order you not to return to 4040 Central Florida Parkway. Understand if you go back there, they're going to recognize you, you're just going to get rearrested. So do not return, all right? You've got 350 days to pay the court cost, 30 days to appeal. Any appeal must be in writing.
May I ask how much is it? How much is?
Total is going to be 273.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, good luck.
Connor Prickett bonded.
Cricket bonded, okay,
Jesus Rodriguez Feliciano bonded.
bonded, thank you. All right. Good morning, sir. Your name, please?
Augusto Trefno.
Ah, all right, got one stuck, okay. All right, sir, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for solicitation to procure for prostitution. Okay. Are you asking me to appoint the public defender in this case, or are you going to hire an attorney, sir?
I'm going to hire my lawyer.
You're going to hire the lawyer, okay. All right, the bond is set at $1,000, and you're ordered not to return to the scene. All right, good luck. Good afternoon, ma'am. Your name, please?
Jessica Tate.
Ms. Tate, you're here for initial appearance. Going to appoint the public defender. You've been arrested for petty theft. All right. Bond is set at $500. You're ordered not to return to the Lowe's, 1651 Orange Blossom Trail.
Okay.
All right, good luck.
Were we appointed, Your Honor?
Yes.
DeMarcus Taylor is behavior.
On Taylor.
If appointed, we'd waive, Your Honor.
Okay. I'll appoint the public defender and stay the bond at $500. Good afternoon, ma'am. Your name, please? What's your name, please?
Arlena Thomas.
Ms. Thomas, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for a trespass after warning.
Your Honor, state did give me an offer to Ms. Thomas of a withhold of adjudication, credit time served, and no return to any UCF properties.
I did have a chance to speak with Ms. Thomas before court, Your Honor. We went through the plea form, and I believe she wishes to resolve no contest. May I have a moment for her to sign the plea?
Sure.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes. All right, Ms. Thomas, I'm being handed a plea form indicating you wish to plead no contest to the offense of trespass after warning, that the sentence would be a withhold of adjudication, credit for the 2 days you've served in jail. You'll be ordered not to return to any UCF property and just pay the cost. And that would resolve the case without a trial, and you'll be released today. Is that what you want to do?
Okay, but I'm not prepared to make payment.
No, I'll give you time.
Okay.
I'm holding up this plea form. Has your name at the top? Is that your signature at the bottom?
Yes.
Did you have the chance to read, review, and understand the document before you signed it?
Yes.
All right. To that charge, trespass after warning, how do you plead?
No contest.
I'll accept no contest. I'll withhold adjudication, give you credit for 2 days, order you not to return to any UCF property. Understand if you go back, they recognize you, you're just gonna get arrested. You don't want that, okay? You gotta pay the cost. I'll give you 350 days, just short of a year to get the cost paid, all right? You've got 30 days to appeal, and the appeal must be in writing. Good luck, ma'am. You'll be released today.
Whitney Turner, bonded.
Turner, bonded, thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name, please?
Tyler Hughes.
Sir, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for a trespass on property other than a structure or conveyance, and I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You got a bond of $500, and I'm going to order that you not return to 6228 Brook Hill Circle, and that you not consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. All right, good luck. Good afternoon, sir. Your name, please?
Barry Wallace.
Mr. Wallace, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for solicitation for a cure for prostitution. On your application for the appointment of the public defender, the amount that you wrote down, you checked off $1,400 weekly. Is that accurate? Is that your take-home pay?
Yeah.
Okay. And even with 4 dependents, that's not still too much? 1,400 with 4? Yes. Okay. All right. Based on your amount that you make too much to qualify for the public defender. So at this point, your bond is set at $500, and I'm just going to order you not to return to the scene. All right. All right. Good luck.
Good afternoon. Oh, wait.
Your Honor, may I have a moment to confer?
Sure. He works. Okay, just hold on. Let's see Wallace's. Just want to see the affidavit. Okay, so readdressing Barry Wallace. So, Mr. Wallace, do you work at 8820 South Orange Blossom Trail?
I work right down the street, sir.
Okay, you can go to work.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, he's allowed to. He's allowed to return to. He's allowed to work nearby. I don't know.
Your Honor, may I have a second just to look up the status of Mr. Markovich's case so that. Thank you, Judge.
All right. All right, sir, you're here for initial appearance. What's your name, please?
It's Thomas Markovich.
All right, Mr. Markovich, you're here. You were arrested pursuant to a capias for failing to appear at a pretrial conference.
Right, can I?
On May 19th.
Right.
This year, and bond has been set at $250.
And, but can I say one thing or no?
Let's see.
I was here last year, and the only thing I did, I went in front of the judge on the 6th or 7th floor, so I did appear. And I guess the one thing I didn't do, I didn't know if there was an outstanding court balance or there was a online anti-theft class I had to take, but my son, I'm so responsible for my son, and he's 35, I'm his caretaker, and I'm trying to get home to him. So if there's anything I could do to make this right, I'll do it. I'll do more, do more fines or something, more classes. I just need to get home to my son.
Well, the case isn't resolved yet. So or actually, it looks like it was referred to pretrial diversion, and then it was rejected earlier this year. I don't know why.
But I was here last year. I was here.
I heard everything you said the first time.
Your Honor, it was revoked due to no contact with him.
Yeah. So the pretrial diversion is unless the state says different, that ship sailed. So the case is now active. Is the state able to make an offer today?
State wasn't at this time, Your Honor. I believe the alternate offer included probation, which I won't convey today.
Okay. So, I mean, at this point, the bond's $250. I'm not inclined to ROR you.
Can I take the state's offer?
It wasn't an
Oh. But I don't. what? Is
So-
there anything else I can do to go home today?
You can post bond.
I know, but my son has my cash, my wallet and everything. Is there anything I can do with the state to, like, is there anything I can do to bypass the bond and go home? Is there anything, I'll do anything. I'll accept any offer the state wants to give me. I'll do anything you tell me to do to go home. Anything. I'll do anything. I'll do anything to go home.
He can come bond you out with the money.
But I can't get a hold of him because he's got my cell phone and I don't have the whole number. That's the whole problem. I'll do anything the state wants me to do. I'll do anything the state wants me to do. I'll do more something.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we just reset the initial appearance for tomorrow? And I don't know if you're able to talk to whoever in the division, if what offer they were gonna make, and then it possibly can be resolved tomorrow.
The alternate offer, it was PTD, and then that got revoked. The alternate offer was an adjudication, 6 months, supervised probation, ICC, and no return.
Well, here's what the court, just calm down and listen. You'd be surprised how much can get done if you just listen. Okay. What the court would do is I would sentence you to a period of incarceration, and I would suspend that upon you completing the impulse control class. So you would not have to do probation, because probation is going to require you sticking around, and if you live out of town, I think you live out of town.
Yes, sir. Fine,
Okay. So what I would do is I would sentence you to 15 days in jail, but I'll suspend that, meaning that you wouldn't have to serve the 15 days, and I'm going to give you a period of time to do the impulse control class.
Okay.
You would have to file that with the clerk of the court, okay? Meaning that there's not going to be you're not going to have anybody to remind you to do any of this other than the paperwork. It'll be in the paperwork.
Yes, sir.
You'll have to take that impulse control class and file a certificate with the court in a certain amount of time,
Yes, sir.
and also pay court costs. I'll give you more time to pay the court cost,
Yes, sir.
and that would resolve the case today.
I'll take it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you're gonna have to review the plea form,
Thank you.
and I'll also order you not to return, and I'll look at
And I can go
where
home
this
today?
occurred. And you would be released today on this case.
Thank you, sir.
So just to clarify, Your Honor, 15 days OCJ, an impulse control course, and then suspended once that's completed?
Suspended, take the impulse control course within 60 days, provide proof to the clerk of the court, the original certificate from taking the impulse control class. You'd have to file it with the clerk of the court within 60 days. If you don't, okay, then what's going to happen is the clerk's going to notify me, and then a warrant's going to be issued for your arrest. Then you won't even come back and see me. You're just going to go straight to do your time in jail. Okay?
Thank you.
Maybe recall that the,
And he would not return to 8001 South Orange Blossom Trail, so I'd order you not to return to the Florida Mall.
may he be recalled at the end of the city-county so that he can have time to review the plea form?
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
So why don't you just have a seat in the back? He's going to give you the plea form. I'm going to want you to read the plea form in its entirety. and then we'll call you back in a few minutes and we'll get the case resolved.
No, you gotta go sit down.
Come on.
You can go sit down.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, come on up, sir. All right, good morning, good afternoon. Sir, your name, please? Mr. Perkins, you're here for initial appearance. You were arrested for failing to appear at an arraignment, charge of carrying concealed weapon. The bond has been set at $2,500, and I'll appoint the public defender if not previously appointed. All right, good luck. Good morning, sir. Your name, please, or good afternoon?
Justin, good afternoon to you. Last name, Tossig Davis.
Thank you, sir. You're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for failing to appear at a pretrial conference on a charge of trespass in an occupied structure. And the judge issued capias with a bond in the amount of $2,000.
Yes.
And I'll appoint the public defender if not previously appointed. All right, good luck. Good afternoon. Your name, sir?
Good afternoon, Paul Resendiz.
Mr. Resendiz, you're here for initial appearance. All right. I'm going to appoint the public defender. You've been arrested for disorderly conduct.
Sir.
Was there an offer from the city, Madam State?
Not at this time. The state's asking that you take no action on his out on bonds.
Just a moment, Your Honor. Thank you, Judge. Your Honor, we would just request a $100 bond on the disorderly, and as state, we would concur with state to take no action on the out on bond cases.
All right, on disorderly conduct, the bond's been set at $250, and I'll take no action on the out on bond. Public defender's appointed. Yep.
What's the call? Your Honor, are we able to recall Mr. Markovich before moving to felonies?
Sure, we'll do. Are you Mr. Arnold?
Yes, sir. Montavious Arnold.
Montavious Arnold, you're here for initial appearance. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You've been arrested pursuant to a warrant for aggravated stalking and criminal mischief. State, you have a position on bond?
Your Honor, Mr. Arnold is otherwise entitled to bond, so state is requesting a reasonable bond. Count one is an F3. It appears that Mr. Arnold does have some other violent arrests, however, and I believe a violent conviction. State's concerned regarding the allegations in the affidavit regarding showing up into the victim's house multiple times and eventually breaking down her door. And I believe there were threats also made to the victim and to her children. So state would just ask that you take all that into account when setting bond.
Defense?
Your Honor, I believe a bond, a reasonable bond and a no contact order would be sufficient.
All right, and it looks like there's looks like there may be
There is an injunction.
an injunction also. Okay.
Yes, I believe that is yet to be served. However, I believe it should be probably when it
It'll,
gets released from
it'll,
jail.
it'll probably get served here. Okay. Mr. Arnold, I'm gonna set the bond, $2,500 on count one, 1,000 on count two. I'm gonna order you have no contact whatsoever, either directly or indirectly, with Chastity Bellamy, that you not go within 500 feet of her residence. Understand that if it's reported to law enforcement and it looks like there's an injunction that's also gonna get served, any more calls or contact by you and a phone call from her, you're gonna end up back in jail probably on no bond.
Yes, sir.
All right, so no contact means no contact. In addition, I'm gonna order that you not possess any weapons or firearms.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Thank you.
good afternoon, sir. Your name, please?
Joseph Basin.
Mr. Basney, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for tampering with physical evidence and possession of drug paraphernalia. I'm gonna appoint the public defender. Bond set at $1,000 on count one and $100 on count two. All right, good luck. Good afternoon, sir. Your name, please?
Belgrave.
Belgrave, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for failing to appear at your pretrial conference back on January 14th, 2 years ago, two and a half years ago.
I got a question.
I'm going to appoint the public defender, if not previously appointed. The bond is set at none. All right, if you have a question, you need to ask the attorney before you ask me.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
Moulton, Charles refused.
Charles refused.
We'd waive the appearance, Your Honor.
I'll appoint the public defender. I'll stay the bonds on 1,000 on the grand theft and 250 on the no valid DL.
Your State would ask for no contact with the victim of the car.
Yeah. Also, no victim contact. Leon bonded, thank you. All right, good afternoon, sir. Your name, please?
Ellis Dulaire.
All right, Mr. Delaire, you're here for initial appearance. Going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You've been arrested for fleeing or attempting to elude law enforcement. State, you have a position on bond?
Your Honor, Mr. Delaire is otherwise entitled to it. And he does have a fairly lengthy criminal history, and given the inherently dangerous nature of the offense, the state will just leave it within your discretion, Your Honor.
Defense?
Your Honor, we'd request a $7,500 bond.
Okay. All right, I'll grant the request. I'll set the bond at $7,500. I'm going to order, that's it, just, I'm going to order you to consume no alcohol or illegal drugs. Okay, all right, good luck. I just state the bonds on both. All right, good afternoon, sir. Your name, please?
Elias James.
All right, so you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for grand theft motor vehicle and resisting an officer without violence. I'm I'm gonna appoint the public defender. State, is the state filed on the out on bond? Or he's out on ROR?
1 second, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor, we have filed back in May. And he is on 2 F1s and an F2, so state was requesting that you do revoke that.
All right, so on the new charge, the new arrest, the grand theft, bond will be stated 1,000, resisting without bonds 100. In 2022 CF 1831, the case you were ROR, the state's filed the other felony case, not the new one. It's not the newest one. I'm going to revoke the ROR and set the bond at none. All right, so you can have your attorney file. I've appointed the public defender in all cases, and your attorney can file the bond motion in the appropriate division.
Give us a call so we can set a hearing for bond.
Marissa Graybill is in the hospital.
I'll appoint the public defender,
We'll waive the appearance, Your Honor.
stay the bond at $1,000.
Ricardo Green Arnold. Steve.
Your Honor, in reference to one of his out on bond cases, let's see, 22 CF 49501, there was an FTA warrant that was issued on him. So my supervisor closed out his FAD and put a hold for a local warrant, so you can take no action on that case.
Okay. So it's the petty theft with 2 priors?
Yes.
No action, okay. That's already a no bond. So I'll appoint the public defender in all cases.
We'll waive the appearance for today, Your Honor.
And we haven't filed on the other out on bond, Your Honor.
I'll take no action on the other out on bond, which is a drug case. He's got a no bond on the petty theft, that they're gonna serve that warrant. So on the possession of MDMA, the bond will be stated 1,000, cocaine bond stated 1,000, the open container, be stated 500.
Has he been seen on the FTA?
No,
No.
no, it'll get served on him and he'll come back to IAs.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name, please?
Dennis Hamlet.
Mr. Hamlet, you're here for initial appearance. Do you want me to appoint the public defender in this case, or are you going to hire an attorney, sir?
Public defender.
Yeah, I'll appoint the public defender. You've been arrested for possession of fentanyl, bond set at $1,000. Good luck. Good afternoon, sir. Your name, please?
Trey Jones.
Mr. Jones, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for trafficking in methamphetamine. I'm going to appoint the public defender. Bond is set at $50,000. Good luck.
Jones, Your Honor. Wesley.
You want to skip them?
Yes.
Skip them is just put them at the bottom of the stack, skip them?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, that's fine. All right, come on up, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Your name, please?
Joseph, Necker Joseph.
Mr. Joseph, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested pursuant to a warrant for possession of a firearm while under indictment and violation of conditional release. Give me 1 second. I didn't have the affidavit on this one.
And doesn't he also have out on bond cases? I don't see them as fads on the information sheet. Not 19 CF 13174 or
For Joseph?
or 19 CF 13792.
He has no out on bond cases.
I don't have him set to play until June in both of those, June 29th.
Those, what's the status of those cases?
So for Mr. Joseph, I have this case. I have a 22 non-arrest felony robbery with a firearm, which isn't relevant at this time. I have a 2019 CF 13174, which is attempted robbery with a firearm, armed burglary of a conveyance of the firearm, and robbery and snatching of the firearm that he is set to plea on in 5 days. I also have 2019 CF 13792.
And Your Honor, I believe he has private counsel in one of those other cases, and I was just speaking with him about the current charges. However, I would like to inquire if the current charges are based on one of those out-of-bound cases. If the information indictment was for that case that he's about to plea on.
I think that's correct.
But there's two.
So in 2019 CF 13174, okay, that was revoked, no. There's not an order, well, at least at that point, so. Okay, so there was a bond hearing. Let's skip here. November 8th, 2019. It was Judge Cast. And at that time, he was ordered not to possess any weapons or firearms. Posted bond. And I don't see where that.
I believe he came to jail from downtown court. He went to court yesterday and saw Judge LeBlanc
Okay,
on both of those 2019 cases.
okay. Are you aware of a court order?
Yeah, I can scan it right now.
Going through all that. Unless there was a court order that allowed him to possess firearms, unless that's been changed. Court yesterday, it looks like. Yeah, I mean, nothing, minutes don't say anything other than set for a plea hearing. Yeah, I pulled that, okay. So that's. So on the violation of it's a bond condition, the conditional release. 790 is.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, did the order from yesterday change any of the conditions?
No, it's just he set for a plea. But I don't see where the court ever changed the condition that he not be in possession of a firearm. And the allegation in the affidavit is that they've got him on video at the gun range shooting a gun. So, I'm gonna stay him at no bond. So I'm gonna, on this one, I'm gonna state it, the violation of conditional release. Actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna revoke the bond in 2019 CF 13174. And he'll be held on no bond on that.
And Your Honor, he is entitled to bond on the current charge.
And I'll on this, although I don't know that the state's gonna file any new charges on this new arrest, it's gonna probably relate to the other one, but whether they do or they don't, that's up to them. So I'll set the bonds at $1,000 on each count on this case today, but in 19 CF 13174, I'm gonna revoke and set that at no bond.
Were we appointed in the current cases?
I'll appoint you in this 22 CF 7020, and it looks like Ms. Arnold represents him in the other one.
Are you taking no action on the other 19 case? For 13792, the other robbery with a firearm?
Let's look at that. Let me look at that one. My Odyssey's frozen, so I don't know that. It's 2019 CF 13792. Wait, there it goes. It just popped up. And it probably it would be what I need to see the order. There would have been there would have been a bond motion back in probably in November of 2019. Yeah, so, yeah, the court it'll just be on the one case number, the 13174. All right, good luck, sir. Yep, yep. No, but they only filed an information on one count. There was an information filed, and it was only on one count. Good afternoon, ma'am. Your name, please? Ms. Kaiser, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for possession of a controlled substance without a prescription and possession of drug paraphernalia. Going to appoint the public defender. Bond set at $1,000 on count 1 and $500 on count 2. All right. Good luck, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir. Your name, please? Mr. Lampkins, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested for looks like delivery or manufacture of drug paraphernalia and possession of drug paraphernalia. Okay, delivery of a crack pipe to another person, that's what the allegation is. Okay. I'm gonna appoint the public defender to represent you. Bond is set at $1,000 on count one and 500, or excuse me, 100 on count two.
Yes, sir.
And I'm gonna order that you not return to the Arena Food Store, 635 Northwest Moreland Drive. It's delivery. That's, I was looking at that. They're saying that the allegation, you don't need to respond to this.
Yes, sir.
The allegation is that you delivered a crack pipe to somebody else. That's what it says in the report.
Okay, it's an allegation.
That's the allegation.
Yeah, that's. Who has to take?
Your Honor, allotment is behavior.
All right, I'll appoint the public defender.
We'll waive the appearance, Your Honor.
State, do you have a position on bond?
Your Honor, we just asked for reasonable bond. He has an extremely lengthy criminal history, recent failures to appear. And this is arguably a violent offense, so the state would just ask that you take all that into consideration when setting his bond, as he is otherwise entitled to it.
Defense?
Just reasonable conditions, Your Honor.
All right, I'll set the bond on count one at $10,000. I'm gonna order him not to return to the 7-Eleven at 3000 West Colonial Drive.
You're leaving the bond on count two, Your Honor?
And the bond on count two will remain at $500.
Your Honor, state would also request no contact with the victim, as I believe it was her car that he was trying to set on fire.
Nope, no victim contact.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir. Your name, please?
Good afternoon, sir. Mitchell, Frank Mitchell Jr., sir.
Sir, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested pursuant to a warrant for failing to update permanent address as a sex predator. I'll appoint the public defender. State, do you have a position on bond?
Your Honor, I believe they usually come in at 2,500 to 5,000. State has no objection.
All right, I'll set the bond at $2,500. Sir, you understand you gotta register. You gotta change your address. You gotta update it. All right.
Yes, sir, I've been doing everything I could for the last 7 years, Your Honor.
You don't need to say anything. Okay.
Understand.
I'll set bond at $2,500. Yeah, 24 hours to bond release. Good afternoon, ma'am. Your name, please?
My name is Alexandra Phillip. How are you doing?
All right, ma'am, you're here for initial appearance. You've been arrested pursuant to a warrant, 3 charges. First 2 are the same. That is human trafficking for commercial sexual activity of a child under 18.
Your
Count
Honor.
3 is for unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Like the co-defendant, I'm going to stay the bond.
Your Honor, before you take any action, I don't know if I have the correct case number, because I didn't have a chance to review the warrant. I have 22 CF 7198.
It's all confidential filings.
9-6.
You can't see it yet.
Yeah, it's like 40 pages long.
I'm from the Metropolitan Bureau of Investigation, was it the same probable causing support
Yes,
document
it's
in
the
the
same
other case?
affidavit for both.
And I did review that, Your Honor.
Both defendants.
Okay. I did review that, Your Honor.
Okay, so are you asking me to appoint the public defender, ma'am?
Yes, I'll be appointed until I can afford a lawyer.
That's fine. I'll appoint the public defender. I'm gonna stay the bonds on counts 1 and 2 at none. And count 3, the bond set at $1,000. I'm gonna order you to have no contact with the co-defendant or any witnesses, or the victims in this case. Your attorney, can file the appropriate, motion in front of the judge if you wanna seek a bond.
I get no bond.
No bonds right now, but give us a call, we'll work on it.
Your Honor, Rivera Diaz refused.
Okay. I'll appoint the public defender
We'll waive, Your Honor.
and stay the bonds at 1,000 on count 1 and 100 on count 2.
Your Honor, I'm sorry.
I'll appoint the public defender on Rivera Torres.
We would request a reset 24 hours within release from hospital as it is a punishable by life offense.
Okay.
I would have the client here, but
So it's to be medical to be reset within 24 hours of release. Mr. Tarver, I'll appoint the public defender.
we'll waive the appearance, Your Honor. I also did have a probable cause argument on case 22 CF 7292. There were no facts in that affidavit. There were in the other two.
Yep.
I would have you still stay a bond.
I'll stay on 22 CF 7292. I'm going to stay the bond at $1,000, and I'll give the state 24 hours to supplement probable cause. In 2022 CF 7291, the petty theft, I'm going to set the bond at $1,000. Order no return to any Home Depot. And on 2022 CF 7290, stay the bond at $1,000, no return. Public defenders appointed in all cases. And let's go ahead and we'll do, this is Mr.
Markovich, Your Honor.
Mr. Markovich. All right, did you have a chance to fill out the plea form, sir? Sign it?
I did. I'm signing right now. Thank you. Done.
Your Honor, I believe we were appointed in this case. If not,
I will.
maybe we'd be appointed.
Yes,
They may approach the bench as well.
yes. All right, Mr. Markovich, I'm being handed a plea form indicating you wish to enter a plea of no contest to the offense of petty theft of $100 or more. And as the court previously indicated, I would adjudicate you guilty. I'm going to suspend 15 days in the county jail upon your submission of proof of having completed an impulse control class within 60 days. Take the class live, take it online. In any event, you'll get a certificate. Once you get the original certificate, you have to file that with the clerk of the court, room 410, the downtown courthouse here in Orlando. If you don't do that within 60 days, the suspended jail sentence will kick in and a warrant will be issued for your arrest, okay? Also going to order you not to return to the Florida Mall, and you'd pay the cost, and I'd give you more time to get the cost paid. Okay. Is that your understanding, and is that what you want to do?
All right, that's what I'd like to do. Thank you.
Okay. Holding up the plea form, it has your name at the top. Is this your signature at the bottom?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you have the opportunity to read, review, and understand the document before you signed it?
I did.
Okay. Certain rights you give up when you enter a plea of guilty or no contest to any criminal charge, those rights are the right to continue a plea of not guilty, have a jury trial, right to an attorney or have one appointed by the court if you can't afford one, the right to be presumed innocent till proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, right to confront and cross-examine witnesses and evidence against you at trial, right to defend yourself, right to remain silent, right to testify, right to appeal harmful error. You understand those are rights you're giving up?
Yes, sir.
Understand if you're not a U.S. citizen, a plea today would subject you to deportation.
Yes.
Are you under the influence of drugs, medication, or alcohol that would affect your ability to understand what's going on? Okay. All right, to that charge of petty theft of $100 or more, it's a first-degree misdemeanor, how do you plead?
No contest.
I'll accept that. I'm going to adjudicate you guilty. I'm going to sentence you to 15 days in the Orange County Jail, credit for 2 days that you've already served. I'm going to suspend the balance upon you filing with the clerk of the court within the next 60 days, completion of an impulse control class. Like I said, no one's going to remind you. You got to do it. Okay. Now, I'm going to also order you not to return to the Florida Mall. The court cost, the cost of prosecution, that is not a condition. That's not something you've got to pay to avoid the jail time. It's just taking the impulse control class. For the costs, I'm going to give you 350 days, just short of a year, to get those costs paid. All right. You've got 30 days to appeal the judgment and sentence. Any appeal must be in writing. All right.
And Your Honor, that's a course you can take online, correct? And you can print out a certificate.
You can take it online, or you can take it, just look up Impulse Control on Google, Impulse Control Florida. They should offer the classes online. They also offer them at the Safety Council, where they offer driving schools and stuff like that. Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck.
Your Honor, Wesley Jones is medical.
Jones is medical. On Mr. Jones, I'll appoint the Office of the Public Defender.
Waive the appearance, Your Honor.
All right, and I'll stay the bonds on all four charges. All right, we are in recess.
I invest hours of my time every single day to make these videos possible. Unfortunately, the engagement on my videos has been very low recently. Most of the Bond Court viewers do not hit the like button on my videos. Please, 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 hit the like button on my videos. The YouTube algorithms heavily favor videos with more likes. If you do not like my videos, then please tell me why in the comments and I can make changes to improve the channel. Thank you to all of you that do hit the like button. I am sorry that you have to hear this repetitive message, but without this message, less than 10% of viewers will like my videos.
Good afternoon, sir. You've been charged with 6 separate counts of burglary of unoccupied vehicle, 5 separate counts of criminal mischief, and petty theft, their first offense. This is an arrest warrant, so probable cause has already been found. You have bonds on these cases. Count 1 is set at $2,000. Count 2 is set at $2,000. Count 3 is set at $2,000. Count 4 is set at $2,000. Count 5 is set at $2,000. Count 6 is set at $2,000. Count 7 is set at $1,000. Count 8 is set at $1,000. Count 9 set at $1,000. Count 10 set at $1,000. Count 11 is set at $1,000, and count 12, $500. Conditions: no contact with victims, no contact with co-defendants, and no return to the area of 8700 Tierra Vista Circle in Kissimmee, Florida. All right. Jeremy Castillo, 22 CF 1833. Good afternoon. I have a few cases. You have one new offense, which is the battery on law enforcement officer and battery domestic violence. It's my understanding the listed victim is present. Would you like to be heard, ma'am? Come on up. And is it Ivana Rosa? Okay, go ahead and raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right, go ahead and put your hand down. Tell me your first and last name,
Epiana Rosa,
your date of birth.
January 14, 1989.
All right, don't tell me anything about the facts of your case. I just want to know if you wish to have contact with him.
No.
Okay, perfect. You can take your seat.
Thank you.
All right, sir, I've reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause for the battery on law enforcement officer. Your bond's going to be stayed at $2,500. The battery domestic violence, I do find probable cause. Your bond's going to be set at $500. Do not qualify for PTR, but you are not to have any contact with the listed victim. You are to maintain a separate residence from the listed victim. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. So you were out on bond on 22 CF 1156 when you picked up these new charges. I'm going to revoke that bond and set you at 0 at this time. Thank you. Richard Chacon. All right, Mr. Chacon, you have a few cases. The first one is 22 CF 1834. It has the possession of cocaine and possession of use of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause. As to possession of cocaine, your bond will be stayed at $2,500. And as to the drug paraphernalia, your bond will be stayed at $500. Your other case is 22 MM 1399. I do find probable cause for your arrest, and that's for the battery. You do not qualify for PTR. Your bond's going to be set at $500. However, you're not to have any contact with Brianna McBride. Do you understand that? All right. You're not to return to the area of 2557 Old Violent Road, which is the Family Dollar in Kissimmee, Florida. You are not to possess any weapons or firearms. You were, let's see, I guess you were in the diversion program for 21 CF 2890. I can only anticipate you're going to be rejected from that program now because of these new arrests. So I'm going to revoke your ROR and set you at 0. All right, thank you.
Judge, is there another battery case, or is it just?
Is there? Did I miss one? All right, it may have been stuck. Oh, it was. All right, for 22 MM 1400, which is another battery, I do find probable cause. Your bond will be set at $1,000. Again, no contact with the listed victim, no weapons, no firearms. Do not return to the Family Dollar. Thank you. Rebecca Dessinger, 22 MM 1401. All right, good afternoon, ma'am. All right, you were arrested for trespass of a structure, and I have reviewed the charging affidavit, and I do find probable cause. You qualify for direct PTR. Any objections, State? Just hold on, don't tell me anything about your case, ma'am.
No, Your Honor, no objection.
I'm gonna go ahead and release you, but please do not go back to 400 Celebration Place, which is the Advent Health and Celebration. Do not go back there, okay? All right, very good. Thank you.
And that is direct PTR, Judge?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Diamond Osceola, 22 CF 1838. Which is? It should be just a straight up attempted first degree murder?
It should be a battery charge, Your Honor. The most that's in the PC is
A battery for stabbing?
She did not stab. No one said she stabbed in the four corners of the document. It was someone else that was identified to have the weapon. The most that can hold her PC in the four corners of the document is a battery. She might have allegedly
Your Honor, she was assisting her brother Dothan Osceola Rodriguez when he stabbed the three
Stabbed
juveniles.
Potentially 4.
Potentially 4, yes, Your Honor, as well as the victim in this case was strangled by Ms. Osceola and placed in a chokehold and took him to the ground, so state would argue that there is probable cause.
All right. I'm going to disagree with the state. There is no PC for the attempted first-degree murder against Diamond Osceola. However, if the state would like 24 hours to obtain that, if you think you can certainly try. From my reading of the charging affidavit, I don't see it. Do you want to be given 24 hours?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, 24 hours. Devon Pensick Smith, 22 MM1404. I believe his wife is present, and that's Miss Ann Ryberg. Come on up. Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and put your hand down. Tell me your first and last name.
Shelby Ryberg.
Shelby?
Yes.
Okay, and what is your date of birth?
6/15/2002.
All right, it's Ann, your middle name?
Yes.
Okay. Don't tell me anything about the facts of the case. I just want to know if you would like to have contact with him.
Yes.
Yes, tell me why. Besides the fact that you loved him and this was a huge misunderstanding, I just need to know a little bit more.
Well, in like my personal standpoint, I didn't call the cops. He did. He did it to himself, so he knew what he was putting himself in, and he knew the repercussions of his actions. And so I think that this was a good learning opportunity for him. And even though
So even though he pushed you and he put his hand on you, you didn't call the police. He called the police on himself?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're not afraid of him at this time?
No, ma'am.
And is that because he's behind bars?
No, it's because I'm actually more scared of being by myself.
You don't have any family here? Where are you from?
North Carolina.
North Carolina. How long have you been here?
June 8th.
Oh, just recently. Okay. Do you plan to stay in Osceola County?
We weren't really sure. We're trying to find a house.
How old are you?
20.
20. Does your parents know you down here? I mean,
Yeah,
you're
they know
an
me,
adult, but what made you move down here?
Well, my parents kicked us out. We were living with them.
All right, so you don't know anyone else but Mr. Pensick Smith. You have any friends?
Not here, no.
No? Okay. And you're telling me that you're not afraid of him?
No.
Are you currently working? Somewhat?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have an apartment?
No. Right now, we're staying at a hotel and we're waiting to get like our tax returns back so that we can put a deposit for an apartment down here.
Now, the no contact order is put in place to protect you. And if there's no contact order in place, there's no way that I can protect you from him if something like this was to happen. Do you understand that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You still want me to remove the no contact order?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Is anyone forcing you to come in here and say, you know, make sure you ask that judge to remove the no contact order?
I haven't talked to anybody about the situation, so.
Okay. State, do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, any questions?
No further questions, Your Honor.
How long have you all been married?
Since February.
All right. This is what I'm gonna do. He's entitled to a bond with PTR conditions. Your bond's gonna be set at $500. Mr. Pensick Smith, you are not to have any hostile contact with your wife, Ms. Ryberg. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Do you know what I mean by no hostile contact?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me.
No violence, no arguing, no shooting.
Very good. All right. So no hostile contact. I will allow him to come back to the hotel that you all are staying. No possession of any weapons and firearms. Understood? Yes, ma'am. All right. Thank you. Lord Rodriguez, 22 MM 1405.
Who's this?
Good afternoon, ma'am. I've reviewed a charging affidavit for battery domestic violence. I do find probable cause. You do qualify for bonds with PTR. Your bond is set at $500. PTR conditions no contact with the listed victim. You are to maintain a separate residence from the listed victim. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms. Understood? Understood. All right, thank you, ma'am. Rosod Rodriguez Feliciano, 22 MM 1407. Right. Ma'am, you were arrested for battery domestic violence. I have reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find probable cause. You do qualify for a bond with PTR conditions. Bond will be set at $500. You're not to have any contact with a listed victim. You're not to return to 138 Hidden Springs Circle in Kissimmee, Florida. I will give you a one-time assistance with law enforcement to retrieve any personal items that you may have. You're not to possess any weapons and firearms. And you do understand that there is a no contact order? Yes. All right. Thank you. Edwin Santiago, 22 MM 1409. Good afternoon, sir. So you have a new case. It's 22 MM 1409, which is trespass on a structure. I do find probable cause. Don't qualify for PTR. The bond's going to be stayed at $250. Please do not return to the Circle K, located at 4692 West Orlo Bronson Memorial Highway. Your second case is 22 CF 702. You're out on ROR. I'm going to revoke that and set you at 0 at this time because of the new arrest, okay? Thank you. Louis Latance, 22 CF 1841. Right, sir, you have two cases. The first one is 22 CF 1841, which is leaving the scene of a crash and a driving while license suspended, second subsequent offender. As to the leaving the scene, I do find probable cause. Your bond's going to be set at $1,500. As to the driving while license suspended, I do find probable cause. Your bond's going to be set at $1,000. Please do not drive without obtaining a valid driver's license. 22 CT 1134, you are out on bond when you picked up this new case. So I'm going to revoke your bond and set you at 0 at this time. Phyllis Rodriguez. In that case is 22 MM 1395. Okay, we'll take his refusal as a waiver of his appearance for today's proceedings. He was charged with resisting an officer without violence. I do find probable cause. His bond's going to be stayed at $500. Have I missed anyone, Mr. Lopez? No? All right, great. Have a good weekend. See you Monday. Court's adjourned.
I invest hours of my time every single day to make these videos possible. Unfortunately, the engagement on my videos has been very low recently. Most of the bond court viewers do not hit the like button on my videos. Please, 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 hit the like button on my videos. The YouTube algorithms heavily favor videos with more likes. If you do not like my videos, then please tell me why in the comments and I can make changes to improve the channel. Thank you to all of you that do hit the like button. I am sorry that you have to hear this repetitive message, but without this message, less than 10% of viewers will like my videos.
Thank you to all of my patrons, members, and supporters. You are the reason that I am able to upload new Bond Courts daily. All members and patrons receive access to the Bond Court Discord server. Please send me a message on Patreon or leave a comment on YouTube if you are unable to join the server. Thank you all for your support.